In high school, Madison Keller ruled the halls like she owned them. Cheer captain, straight white teeth, legs for days. The kind of girl who never carried her own books because someone was always there to do it for her. And me? I was the quiet girl with a knee brace. Freshman year, I tore my ACL during soccer tryouts. Surgery helped, but I never fully recovered. I walked fine most days, but I couldn't run the way I used to. That was enough for Madison to decide I was fair game. Careful, don't trip, she'd whisper as I passed. Once, during gym class, she actually mimicked my limp in front of everyone. The laughter still echoes in my head. I remember gripping the bleachers so hard my fingers went numb. She didn't just bully me. She made me feel less than human. I tried ignoring her. I tried reporting her. Nothing stuck. She was too popular, too polished. Teachers saw her as spirited. Coaches called her competitive. I called her cruel. By senior year, I learned to shrink myself. Avoid eye contact. Stay invisible. And when graduation came, I left our small Ohio town without looking back. I built my life slowly. Community college. Physical therapy degree. Hard work. No spotlight. But karma? Karma was building something too. 3 years after graduation, I moved back home temporarily to help my mom after her surgery. I took a job at a local rehabilitation center, the only one within 50 miles. On my first Monday morning, I walked into room 214 to meet my new long-term patient. And there she was, Madison Keller. Except this wasn't the Madison I remembered. Her hair was thinner, her makeup gone. A wheelchair replaced the confident stride she once flaunted. A car accident 6 months earlier had left her with severe spinal injuries. Partial paralysis. Doctors weren't sure how much mobility she'd regain. She didn't recognize me at first. I recognized her instantly. For a moment, the room felt too small to breathe in. The girl who once mocked my limp now couldn't move her legs at all. She was staring out the window when I spoke. "Good morning, I'm your physical therapist." She turned slowly, and when her eyes met mine, I saw something I never thought I would. Fear. Not arrogance. Not superiority. Fear. A flicker of recognition crossed her face. "Wait, do I know you?" I smiled politely, professional, calm. "Yeah," I said softly. "We went to high school together." Her face drained of color. The silence between us was heavier than any weight I'd ever lifted. In that moment, I had a choice. I could be the bigger person, or I could remember every single laugh. And as I adjusted the straps on her therapy harness, I realized something chilling. Revenge doesn't always need to be loud. Sometimes, it just needs time. The first session was simple: assisted stretches, muscle stimulation, basic transfers from wheelchair to therapy table. Madison hated every second of it. "I used to run 5 miles before breakfast," she muttered while I adjusted her legs. "Now I can't even feel my toes." I kept my voice steady. "Recovery takes time." She let out a bitter laugh. "Easy for you to say." Oh, the irony. Over the next few weeks, I became the person she depended on most. I helped her sit up. I braced her hips when she tried standing between parallel bars. I caught her when her balance failed. And she fell. A lot. Each time, her frustration cracked a little more of that old shell. The confident queen bee was gone. In her place was someone raw, angry, and terrified of being stuck like this forever. One afternoon, after a particularly rough session where her legs refused to respond, she snapped. "Stop looking at me like that." "Like what?" "Like you pity me." I paused. I wasn't pitying her. I was remembering gym class, bleachers, her exaggerated limp, her voice saying, "Don't trip." I stepped back slightly. "I'm not here to judge you, Madison. I'm here to help you walk again." She looked down at her useless legs. "You don't get it." Actually, I did. That night, I went home and pulled out my old knee brace from a box in the closet, the one she used to mock. I ran my fingers over the worn Velcro straps and felt something shift inside me. I didn't want to hurt her. I wanted her to understand. The next morning, before work, I strapped the brace on my own knee. I didn't need it anymore, but the faint stiffness it caused made my step uneven again. When I walked into her room, she noticed immediately. "What happened to you?" she asked. "Old injury," I replied calmly. "Never fully healed." Her eyes followed my gait as I moved across the room. Something flickered there. Confusion first, then recognition. During therapy, when she tried standing between the bars, she trembled. "I can't do this." "Yes, you can," I said. "It's hard. It's embarrassing sometimes, but you do it anyway." She swallowed. "Did people ever look at you differently?" I held her gaze. Yeah, they did. Silence filled the room. For the first time since I'd seen her again, she didn't look angry. She looked ashamed. Later that week, during a balance exercise, she lost control and started to fall forward. Instinct kicked in. I caught her before she hit the ground. Her hands clutched my shoulders, shaking. "Why are you being so nice to me?" she whispered. "Because I could drop you. Because I could let gravity teach you what humiliation feels like." But I didn't. Instead, I helped her back into her chair. Because someone should have been nice when it mattered. Her eyes filled with tears. And that's when I realized the most powerful revenge wasn't making her suffer. It was making her face exactly who she used to be. By the second month, Madison could stand for almost 30 seconds without collapsing. It wasn't graceful. Her knees shook, her jaw clenched, and sweat gathered at her temples. But she was doing it. Every small victory felt monumental to her, and strangely, to me too. One afternoon during hydrotherapy, the warm water supported her weight as she practiced stepping motions. It was easier in the pool, but emotionally harder. The mirrors along the tiled walls didn't hide anything. "I don't recognize myself anymore," she said quietly, watching her reflection. "I used to be different." I adjusted the flotation belt around her waist. "Different how?" She gave a hollow laugh. "Confident? Untouchable." Untouchable. The word hung between us like a ghost from high school hallways. "You know," she continued, eyes still fixed on the mirror, "I used to think weak people just didn't try hard enough." I stayed silent. She glanced at me. "That sounds horrible, doesn't it?" "It sounds young," I replied carefully. But we both knew it had been more than youth. It had been cruelty. That evening she surprised me. "Can I ask you something?" she said while I helped her back into her wheelchair. "Sure." Was I awful in high school? There it was. The question I'd waited years to hear. I didn't rush my answer. "You weren't kind." Her shoulders stiffened. "To you?" "Yes." Her fingers tightened around the armrests. "I remember some things, not all, but I remember thinking it was funny." Her voice cracked. "I'm sorry. Just two adults in a rehab room, facing what used to be. I made fun of your knee, didn't I?" she whispered. I nodded. I thought it made me look stronger. I stepped closer, meeting her eyes. It didn't. For the first time, Madison didn't try to defend herself. She didn't blame peer pressure. She didn't minimize it. I wish I could take it back. I believed her, but I also knew something she didn't. The world had already taken something from her. Later that week, during a difficult session with the parallel bars, she froze halfway through a step. Her breathing grew fast and shallow. "I can't," she said. "Everyone's watching." 2 other patients were nearby. Nurses passing. Normal clinic noise. "It's okay," I told her gently. "No, it's not. I look pathetic." The word hit me like déjà vu. Years ago, I'd overheard her use that same word about me. Pathetic. I leaned in slightly so only she could hear me. "You look like someone fighting." Her eyes met mine, searching, vulnerable, and slowly, painfully, she shifted her weight forward and took the step. The room didn't erupt in applause. No dramatic music played. But something shifted inside her, and inside me. That night, driving home, I realized something unsettling. I didn't want revenge anymore. I wanted her to walk. Because if she stood tall again, not just physically, but as a better person, then the girl who laughed at my limp would finally be gone for good. And maybe so would the pain she left behind. By month 4, Madison could take 5 steps with a walker. 5 shaky, stubborn, beautiful steps. The first time she did it without collapsing, she started laughing, the same bright laugh she used to have in high school. But this time it wasn't sharp or mocking. It was relieved. "I'm actually doing it," she breathed. "Yes," I said. "You are." Her progress wasn't just physical. She thanked the nurses now. She encouraged other patients. She even apologized to a teenage girl in the clinic who was crying over her own injury. "I know it feels like your life is over," I overheard Madison tell her softly. "But it's not. It's just different." Different. That word followed me home. One afternoon, during a particularly hard session, her legs buckled unexpectedly. I caught her again, but this time we both went down. We landed awkwardly on the padded mat. For a second, we just lay there staring at the ceiling tiles. "Guess I'm still good at falling," she joked weakly. I smirked. "Yeah, but you're better at getting up." She turned her head toward me. "You could have treated me badly, you know." I didn't answer right away. I would have deserved it. There it was again, that open wound honesty. "You've already got your lesson," I finally said. She swallowed. "The accident? No, this." I gestured to the therapy room. The sweat, the frustration, the rebuilding of identity from scratch, losing control, I continued quietly. "Needing help, being the one people look at." Her eyes shimmered. "I used to think being strong meant never needing anyone. And now?" She looked at her trembling legs, then at me. "Now I think it means admitting when you do." That hit deeper than any revenge fantasy I'd ever imagine. The truth was, I had once dreamed of humiliating her, of letting her feel small, of reminding her exactly what she did to me. But watching her fight, really fight, changed something. Pain had sanded down her sharp edges, and maybe mine too. A week later, we practiced walking down a short hallway. No wheelchair behind her this time. Just me at her side and the walker in front. Halfway down, she stopped. "I used to think you were weak," she said quietly. I kept my eyes forward. "I know. I was wrong." 3 simple words. Not dramatic, not loud, but they closed a chapter I'd carried for years. She finished the hallway without falling, and when she reached the end, she didn't look triumphant. She looked humbled. As I helped her turn around, I realized something powerful. Revenge would have been easy. Healing was harder, and somehow it felt stronger. 6 months after I first walked into room 214, Madison walked out of the rehab center on her own. Not perfectly, not effortlessly, but independently. Her walker had been replaced with a cane. Each step was deliberate, earned, and steady. The staff lined the hallway, clapping softly as she made her way toward the exit doors. I stayed near the back. This moment wasn't about me. When she reached the sunlight spilling through the glass doors, she paused and turned around. Her eyes found mine instantly. She motioned for me to come closer. "I don't think I ever understood what I took from you back then," she said quietly. So only I could hear. Confidence? Safety? Maybe even a part of yourself. Her honesty didn't sting anymore. It settled. "I can't undo it," she continued, "but I won't be that person again." I studied her face, not the polished, arrogant mask from high school, but the woman standing in front of me now. Scarred, humbled, changed. "You already aren't," I replied. She nodded, emotion thick in her throat. "Thank you for not dropping me when you could have." The corner of my mouth lifted. "Trust me, I thought about it." She actually laughed at that, and this time, it wasn't cruel. It was real. Before leaving, she surprised me one last time. "I volunteer here starting next month," she said. "If they'll have me. I want to help people who feel the way I did, or the way I did." That was the unspoken part. I watched as she stepped outside into the bright Ohio afternoon. Her pace was slow, but it was hers. No spotlight, no audience, just quiet determination. For years, I thought revenge would feel like power. But standing there, watching her rebuild herself, I understood something deeper. Real power wasn't making her suffer. It was refusing to become like her. The girl who once mocked my limp no longer existed, and neither did the version of me who needed her to fall. Some stories end with dramatic payback, public humiliation, a perfect mic drop moment. Mine ended with something softer. She learned what weakness feels like. I learned what strength truly is. And sometimes, the most satisfying revenge isn't destroying someone. It's helping them become better and realizing you already are.